own personal life to make sure they are heading into that future in which they want. So I'm still talking about, now what I'm going to talk about tonight is, and I want you to ask this, I want to ask this question. Have you noticed that we say that we live in a country that is free, but we have a lot of people that are not free? Self-imprisonment happens when we lack the knowledge to move from one spot to another. People are really stuck in one spot in their life. People are really stagnated. They're not growing. So circumstances or situation, really help people down into one situation. Now, for you to be able to move forward in life, you need to have an understanding of how to cope with the reality that will keep you, progressing. If you don't understand that reality, if you don't understand that principle, if you don't understand that knowledge, if you don't know how to get that awareness, you're going to be in the same spot. And you're going to be wondering, why are people progressing in life? Why am I not progressing in life? So tonight, in examining this principle, the first three principles of this focus are just the fundamentals. And after that, that fundamentals is, the concentration of force to a single objective. You're going to learn that tonight, and I'm going to explain that. The remaining of those four principles, it's how to engage this principle to have this experience in your own life. It's an intense transformation if you really pay attention to what we want to talk about tonight. And and another thing I'm going to talk about is setting goals on how often we should engage in the activities of focusing, ensuring we are making the best opportunity in creating our own reality. So what is actually focus? It's the thought that is consistently fixed on an objective. That's what I define as focus. The first principle I'm going to talk about tonight, it's you can only focus on one thing per time. Don't try and put too many things in your own agenda at the same time. You can only do one thing at a particular point in time. So focus on the main thing and make that main thing the very, objective that you really want to work on. So that one thing that you focus on is the womb that is going to conceive million other things. That's going to create some other opportunities. For the fact that I'm saying focus on one thing, or that you can only focus on one thing per time, doesn't mean that you're not going to have opportunity to do some other things. But for you to be able to maximize, your potential, to be able to get the effective result in what you're doing, make sure you do one thing just at a point in time. Don't try to. People talk about multitasking. Multitasking in this case is not applicable, because if it comes to your future, if it comes to what you want to become in life, you can't multitask, your decision to become something. You can't do that. That's why you have to take one thing, focus on that thing, establish on that thing, then allow that thing to guide you in every step that you're going to take. Now, the concentration of power is centered on one objective. That's the principle of focus. When you focus on one thing, that's one thing that you focus on. You concentrate your power on that thing. And that thing, you will continue to do it until it comes to the point that it begins to produce some other opportunities for you. Many failed in the pursuit of their dreams and goals because they have an alternative mind. People will say, well, if this doesn't work for me, then I'm going to do something else. Well, you ever heard people talk about plan B? This is not the case of plan B. This is a case of there is one thing that I know that I want to do. Or out of so many things, there is one that I need to do. Or out of millions of things you have opportunity to do, you say, okay, I can't do all those things at the same time, but I have to focus on one particular thing per time. Let's say, for example, there's a driver, somebody's driving, he wants to go to like 5-4 destination. It cannot be at that 5-4 destination at the same time, at equal time. No, he has to go to the first destination first and then move to the second destination. So that's the way, this is what this principle is about. If you have 10 things to do, don't do the 10 things at the same time. Don't try and juggle 10 things at the same time. Take one first and focus on that one. And once that one has come to the place of maturity and has been established and has been reproducing itself, then you can move to other things that you want to do. So this is this principle. You must find one thing to concentrate your life on. It does not mean you will not have opportunity to do some other things. That's not what we're saying. But one thing per time. Have one thing that is the center of your life and master that thing very well until you reach excellence in that thing. Don't forget, we're talking about the future of the world. You're talking about how to become, not only a survival in the future, but somebody that can also preserve the lives of humanity. But if you don't learn the principle on focusing on one thing, you cannot master that trait in order for you to be able to help other people. So that's why it's so important. When you hear, now let me ask you, sir, when you hear this name, Nike, Walmart, when you hear names like Ford, when you hear names like Boeing, you can't confuse those things together. You know what Nike is about. That's an identity. You know what Walmart is about. You know what Ford is. You know Ford. When you hear those things, your mind goes straight to what it is. Ford, your mind goes to car. Nike, your mind goes to clothing, wears of shoes and stuff like that. Walmart, your mind, you know where your mind goes to when you talk about Walmart. So these individuals that establish this, they focus on one thing. That's why you know them for one thing. And within that one thing, then there's some other concept, because when you go to Walmart, you know Walmart has a lot of components inside what they trade on, but it's just one thing that is started with one thing per time. That's how you grow, your multi-billion, whatever you want to go to in the future. But until you learn how to take one thing per time, you will juggle so many things and you will not be able to meet the standard in any of those things. So think of one thing that when it is mentioned, the world will know that that is you. So if you, on your, going forward, when you choose what you want to focus on, make sure you say, okay, this is what I want. When they mention this thing, I want the world to be able to say, oh, I know that person. Or when they mention your name, everybody that hear that name, okay, I know who you're talking about. I know him. I know him very well. Oh, this is the one that it's, responsible for something like this. So the second principle I'm going to talk about, now your thoughts create your world. You need to understand that. How you think and the things you focus on, it's how you create your world. The second principle I want to talk about is it's the principle that you cannot focus on what you cannot see. Know your objective and have clarity of the target or destination. You must see what you want to chase. You must see what you want to chase. Don't start to focus on what you actually don't have a clue about. It's very unfortunate that there are people who chase things that they cannot see. There are people running a race in life, but have no clue where the destination is. And then you ask, so why are they running if they don't know where the destination is? They're running because they see some other people running too. So they also want to be involved in something. They want to do something with their life, but they don't have a clue. Why am I doing this particular thing? Why am I doing this? So they don't have clarity before they start focusing on something. And if you don't have clarity, think about this. If it's dark in the night, go and try to run from one point A to B. You'll see how difficult it's going to be if you can actually accomplish that. That's what it looks like when you are chasing something and you don't have clarity about what you're chasing. That's really not something you want to do. Without clarity, there is vagueness in your understanding, and also there is no momentum, because if you're driving right now and there is fog and you can't see clearly, there's no way you're going to speed. So without clarity, there's no momentum. Without clarity, there is vagueness in what you're doing. So your ability to hit any target depends on the clarity of your vision and the ability to focus on that thing. So think about it before you start your journey. You want to be clear about what you want to, where you're going to. Clarity is a must to hit a target or master any area of your pursuit. You can't just chase what you cannot see. Don't embark in that kind of a journey. Now, with clarity comes speed. And when you have speed, you have confidence that you're succeeding in life. And with that confidence come, a high self-esteem, because the lack of confidence lowers people's self-esteem. And that's why you see a lot of people, when they don't have a high self-esteem, is because they don't have confidence in what they are doing. They are not progressing in life. One of the ways to know you have a clear objective is when your name is mentioned, people think of that one thing. How do I know if I have a clear objective? Think about that thing that when people mention your name, they know, oh, that is who you are talking about, is the one running that thing. So let's move to the third principle. Whatever you focus on becomes your reality. That is where the direction of your life is going. So it's the same thing when I say, whatever you focus on becomes your perception of reality. Whatever you focus on becomes your perception of reality. This is very important. I want you to understand this very well. It is a simple but powerful concept. You perceive reality through the lens of your mind. The information that gets your attention becomes what you're familiar with. And that is the tool you have as your resources. So this is a psychological instrument used by Hollywood and the media in creating their narratives. It is a powerful tool for programming. You subscribe to whatever they want you to believe. They show you what they want you to see, and then whatever they show you is what you perceive as the reality. Although that may not necessarily be the truth, but because you focus on what they programmed and what they bring into your screen, and you continue to watch it and you consume those ideas, and that becomes a reality that you know. The majority are still living on this perceived reality based on Hollywood narratives and the media. There are those who believe that relationship and love life is what the Hollywood says it is. That's not true. So this is one of the problems we have in the country and different countries, because the movie industry has been able to change people's perspective and create a perceived reality for them, because they are focused on the narrative that comes from those screens, and it affects the way we look at things. That's why some young people think relationship is about fantasy that they watch in movie. That's why kids, they really want to, be the same hero like the person they watch on the movie. But you can't be that hero, because that hero it's just a make-believe. But that's their perceived reality because they focus on that thing. So the media are the windows to the current events and the breaking news around the globe. But you cannot always count on them, because their narrative is not as accurate as it's supposed to be. But once they sell that information to you, that's the news for you. And then you're going to take that information and say, do you know what is happening in California? I just watched CNN yesterday, and they said 3 women did this. Oh, this is so terrible. Then they sold that to you. And you begin to think, how could somebody do that? But that's just, you don't even verify what they're telling you. But it make you to focus on that thing, and that become what you perceive as the reality of what is happening. But that may not be what's happening. That's why we're saying the third principle, whatever you focus on in life become your own perceived reality. So don't focus on what you don't want to live by. Don't pay attention to the things that this is not how I want my life to be. I don't want to live emotionally, mentally, and I don't want to be convinced about this thing. Anything you don't want to become your belief system, don't focus on those things. Because when you focus on those things, they create a reality in you. Have you ever seen sometimes 2 people are having conversation, and one person says something, and the other person that's listening perceived what is being said in another way, and then there was a misunderstanding. So that misunderstanding is not because the person that said something was saying the wrong thing, but for the fact that the person listening perceived what is being said as being offensive, things change. That's the reality for the person who received that information, because that's what the person was able to interpret. It focuses on that thing. So you got to understand what you focus on becomes your perceived reality. So you have to be careful what you listen to. Another example is when you see people grow up in an abusive environment, they find it difficult to trust every other people because they think, oh, everybody is going to abuse them. People that, experience an abusive relationship, they find it difficult to trust some other people because of their experience. That experience they have become their perceived reality. And then because that was the focus they had. And then for them to get out of that, they have to change the way they see things. They have to change their focus on those experiences, on those things they were exposed to, in order to have a different reality. So that's these first three principles are the fundamentals of focus. The first one is you can only focus on one thing at a time. The second one is make sure you can see your objective before you focus on it, because you cannot hit a target that you do not see. If you are running the race of life and you don't see where you're going, you're going to fall flat. And the last of this fundamental is that whatever you focus on become your perceived reality. Now we're going to use these three principles and apply it to the rest of the four principles on how these apply to you as a person. So let's go to the first principle. Now I want you to see this quotation. It says, poverty and riches are offsprings of thoughts. If you live in an environment and all you focus on is your condition, you will think everybody is experiencing what you're experiencing. No, not everybody is experiencing what you're experiencing. You are experiencing what you're experiencing based on what you focus on and the environment in which you're located. That's why the poor and the rich will see differently, because they think differently and they see things different and their focus is different. So the fourth principle we're going to talk about is focus on who or what you want to become. Focus on who or what you want to become. There is no other way you can do this. Now, this is the greatest of all discoveries. If you can get this right, you will always be on the right side of history. Those who make history are those that discover their purpose and they focus on that purpose until they achieve something that is unattainable. So apply the first three principles on this one. Make sure when you're focusing on what you want to become, that is the one thing you need to do per time. The second one is make sure you see exactly what you want to become. And that's your objective. And the third one is that thing you want to become, when you focus on it, it becomes your perceived reality. So focus on who you want to become. The main reason for learning focus is to be able to bring out the best that is in you, to, take all your energy and effort and use it to bring out the greatness that is in you that you have not unlocked. So you have the opportunity to harness every resources available to you to build yourself and master who you want to become. The power of focus gives you mastery. The power of focus gives you mastery. You must know how to use it and apply it to become whatever you want to become. Discover your potential, your purpose, and passion. Once you know it, concentrate your time and your energy and make sure you work on this daily. Don't just, once you really know what you want to be, what you want to become, you have to pay, attention to yourself. And, it's like a treasure that you are working on. And it's like the most expensive thing that you'll ever see in your life. And it's like the most delicate thing you will ever handle in your life. Yourself, what you want to become. So you handle that thing delicately because you don't want to just, mess it up. You pay attention to your potential, to your skills. You pay attention to the gift that you think you find, the ability that is in you that you are building on. You pay attention to it. You must develop an obsession for who and whatever you want to become, because you are the only one that can become that thing. I can become who I want to become. I cannot become who you want to become. You have that only authority in life to be that one person, which any other person cannot become. So how do you treat yourself? Focus on what is going to require for you to be that best person you want to be in life. Focus on what is required for you to be that perfect version of yourself. And that's what we do in Life Impact. What we do here is to make sure we impart knowledge into people so they can use this knowledge to become their own best version and to, transform their lives and have a big dream that can change their own universe. So you must have a clear and visual of that outcome and concentrate on it until it is realized. Make the outcome you desire the objective of your focus and the reason you wake up every day. Make it the most important aspect of your life, that every other thing revolves around this main passion. Dedicate your mind and activities to create this reality by making it your main target and continue to work on it. Do not give room for alternative or an inconsistency of thought. Don't let anything make you to compromise the standard of the perfection that you want to see about who you want to be. Focus daily on whatever that kind of thing you want to produce in your life. Each day must count. And if you do not make that thing the part of your daily activities, it will not become a reality. It has to be a part of your daily activity. Once you discover your potential, once you discover who you want to be, working on that thing must be part of your daily activities. Do not let a single day go by without working on yourself. It is called cultivating your field. Cultivating your field. I want to move to the fifth principle. Now, look at this. Focus on what you believe. Focus on what you believe, because what you believe is the way you're going to behave in your life. Focus on that. So the fifth principle says, focus your effort on mastering one single area of your life through the concentration of power and resources. One single area of your life. You want to master one single area of your life. And why is that important? The first to ask you a question, have you mastered anything before in your life to know what it means? When you master something, you become like the authority in that area. So when you focus in mastering one single area of your life, that area, you become authority in that area. That is very difficult for somebody to come and destabilize you in that area. When you are an authority in an area, people will say, do you know the person you need to talk to? Go talk to that person. He is the subject matter expert in that area. He has gotten thousands and millions of results in that area. And the world will come to you to say, we know that this is your area. We know that you produce result in this area. But until you master one single area of your life, now you're just going to be like any other person. And everybody know how to do different kind of things. But not everybody master in one particular part of their life that make them to be unique. So becoming unique is mastering one single area of your life. It doesn't mean that you can't master some other areas. No, that's not what it's saying. But once you know this is a principle, you're not going to be that person that dabbles in so many things and you didn't master anything. You have to find one area and master it. And then if you're good and you're perfect in that area, you can master another area too. But make sure when you're mastering this area, you put in all your effort, the concentration of power and the resources, so that you build this concept that no other person can compete with you in this area, if it's possible. So that's the goal. Focus on that, mastering one single area of your life. So there is no doubt that you have several capabilities and you are gifted in many areas, but mastering one out of those many areas will create your own identity. You want the world to be able to identify you and say, okay, when I mention your name, they know exactly who you are based on that area. Major in that thing and do not make it your minor in life. It must be the main thing that takes your mental and spiritual investment. The secret of mastery is repetition. When you find this area that you want to master in your life, repetition until you become perfect in it until, anybody anywhere knows that you can do this thing even while you're sleeping. That's who you are. So I'm going to read us a quote from Tony Robbins. He said, I learned to harness the principle I now call concentration of power. Most people have no idea of the giant capacity we can immediately command. It said, when we focus all our resources on mastering one single area of our lives, control focus is like a laser beam that can cut through anything that seems to be stopping you. When we focus consistently on improvement in any area, we develop unique distinction on how to make that area better. One reason so few of us achieve what we truly want is that we never direct our focus, we never concentrate our power on one particular thing. So it's that most people dabble their way through life, never deciding to master anything in particular. I believe most people fail in life because they major in minor things. That's Tony Robbins. So, concentration of power. Direct all your resources, mental, spiritual, emotional, to master a single area of your life. Spend time on that very area that you want to master. Mental resources, spiritual resources, emotional resources, figure those things out. Pay attention to those things. Stay on those things until it emerges. Control focus is consistently and passionately focused on mastering one single area of your life. Consistency in your passion. And then unique distinction is to develop that area until your results set you apart and make you an icon in that area. Gain mastery in your field. Gain mastery in your field. So, the sixth principle that I want to talk about is focus on what you have inside. This is very, very important. This is very, very important. You have to focus on what you have in you. The world you want to create and the power to create this world is inside of you. Many are yet to realize this powerful truth, that the basis of your transformation lies within you. Within you are the potential and the capacity to become whatever you want to become. It is an internal force that propels you. There is nothing anyone can accomplish by, outside the power that is within you. It's like a seed. The principle of a seed, 99.9% of the success of a seed is inside that seed. It's not outside. The same thing for human. Sometimes we're always looking outside of us to get the best in life. But first of all, you have to cultivate what is inside of you. Until you know how to cultivate and to turn inside of the potential that it's inside of you, you will not be able, to get that kind of, fulfillment that you're looking for in life. So think about this. There is nothing anyone can accomplish outside the forces within them. This comprises of the power of your thought is one of the forces within you. Your power to visualize what you want to become, it's inside of you. Your vision, ability to create a dream, ability to desire, a future, it's inside of you. The power of your greatness is inside of you. And then some of the abilities you have to do some other things that other people cannot do, your gifts in life, it's inside of you. Your talents, it's inside of you. The power of your intelligence is inside of you. Not everybody may be able to think the way you think. Not everybody may be able to do the things you can do. So you have to look inward and develop this capacity that is in you. But if you don't focus on yourself and what is inside of you, you're going to abandon the treasure that you have in you and be looking for things all outside of you. But the raw material, the seed of your greatness, lies within you. And without the seed, there's nothing that's going to manifest. So take time to focus on what you have within you. The dreams that you can have for the future is within you. The vision of doing something, inventing something, or turning things around is within you. It's not outside. It's from inside that you get that capability to turn things around. So if you refuse to focus on yourself, you are wasting a lot of resources. The resources that's supposed to, be what's going to help you to compete in the future. So through concentration of force, you can develop the substance of your idea from within and make it great concept outside. Learn how to focus on what is in you. There is no doubt someone will need a resource from outside to achieve it. Yes, we know that, but it is first, you need to look within first before you start looking for resources from outside. You have to have an idea before you can start something. And that idea comes from within you. You have to have an imagination of what you really want your life to look like. You have the picture. If you want to build a house right now, you need to have a plan. The plan needs to come from what is the design and specification that you are thinking inside of you before you tell the builder to say, this is exactly my vision. This is what I want you to build for me. Every human invention and our civilization came from inside men and women with great ideas. They birth these ideas. They look inward and they bring it out. Everything you're seeing in this world today that being created by men or women, that's been orchestrated by human, comes from ideas, thoughts, imagination, and this is from within individuals. So you have to open yourself into that which is within you. The idea that will create your breakthrough is in you and not outside. Some ideas and concepts are non-explosive. So sometimes you got to be very careful. Some of these ideas will just come in like something that is not relevant, but they might be very powerful because you might just want to like ignore it. It doesn't make sense. I just thought about this thing yesterday. But that very thing you're trying to ignore might be your own greatest breakthrough. So don't ignore those ideas. Don't think an idea is going to come to you like being explosive and you're going to wake up and say, whoa, I just know what to do to change the world. It may not be like that. You might just sit down and something just flash in your mind. And you might just think, oh, that doesn't make sense. But that might really be the real sense the world is looking for. So pay attention to what is coming from inside of you. Now, look at this. Right now in the United States, it's unfortunate how many people never realize what they are meant to accomplish. And they live in mental and spiritual poverty, weaknesses. We have 35 million people living in poverty, 45 million people under the food stamp, But what do you think about those people? Some of them, a majority of them, have resources within them that they have not tapped into. The day they realize the power that is within them, the day they begin to understand that their situation is just temporary, and they have this conviction that, no, they have a future. So focus on what is within. It is the power to become whomever you want to become. Life is inside out. It's not like what's going to make you is not going to come from outside and turn you to that great person. No, it has to come from what is inside of you, the idea that you carry as a person, the intelligence that you carry as a person. Focus on that. So, and the seventh principle that I want to talk about, focus on one big dream to create a perfect future for yourself. Tomorrow, this is going to be my main topic that I'm going to talk about. But right now, I'm just going to highlight on this. One of the principles of life is that your future starts as a dream. Because it's a future. You haven't seen it. So you have to have the dream to be able to catch that future. Then when you now fulfill this future, that future that was a dream before has now become a reality. But first of all, the future starts as a dream. But if you don't know how to have a big dream, that means you're only going to have a very small future. But if you know how to have focus on having one big dream, that big dream is your credential to create your perfect future. The future is a reality. But what determines that reality is how big or how small your dream is. So you need to learn how to focus on one big dream. And that big dream will give you a perfect future. Now, I want to talk about this, and we're talking about this 7 principle. There is one thing that is very essential, the mindset. Without the mindset, and I'm going to tell you there's a correlation between your mindset. There's a correlation between your mindset and the way you, whatever you want to focus on. I'm going to explain that to us. So what happened is, if you have to, let's say you want to build a house right now, but your mindset is the kind of person that believe it's not necessary to build a house. Why do I want to build a house? I can actually live with a friend. So, but until you change that mindset, you will not be able to accomplish that dream or goal of building a house. But how do you want to say, okay, I want to build a house, but you need to focus on that house that you want to achieve to build. But your mindset, first of all, has to be changed before you can focus. So in this, you need to first of all focus on what you want to change in your mindset before that mindset can now focus on what you want to achieve. If your mindset is not in the right standard, in the right way, in the way that you can apply it to achieve your goal, you first of all need to focus on that mindset to change it. And once you change that mindset, then you now receive a new concept to now apply that mindset to change what you want to accomplish in the future. If you're conditioned yourself to a particular system and you have lived in that system for a long time, and everything about that system is what builds your belief system and what builds your mindset, builds your decision and your choices in life. You cannot just change and just become something different overnight. First of all, you need to focus on changing that mindset. And once that mindset is changed, now you can now use that mindset to apply it to become what you want to become or who you want to become. So that's the correlation between your mindset and focus. Because if you do not change your mindset from where you are coming from, it's not going to be able to be focused on the target that you want to achieve in life. Your mindset is going to influence how you apply the principle of focus. If you're somebody that believes in this idea that, well, I'm just multitasking, I'm just all over the place, I've heard people say multiple streams of income. Yeah, that's an idea. But you can have multiple streams of income, but you can become a master of none. So you're not really establishing any, but you say multiple stream of income. Everyone that is saying those things, they first of all, they have the main thing that they are doing. And the rest is just like an alternative, just like by the way. That's not like, oh, I'm not focused on one thing. I just have different kind of things. I'm all over the place. No, you cannot be established like that. You have to focus on one thing. But so if your mindset is like that kind of person, oh, I'm not really like proficient in one particular thing. I do so many things. You need to change that mindset before you can focus on one particular thing. So if you have the mindset of like, I just go and dabble on whatsoever I really want to dabble on, I don't really care. Now, when somebody tells you, no, you need to focus your life on one thing you want to be establishing, because you are that kind of person who already have the mindset that is about, multiplicity, going in a different direction. You need to first of all focus on changing that mindset before that mindset can now be focused on doing one thing at a time. So also never dwell on your inability, focus on your strengths. Never dwell on your weaknesses, because remember, whatever you focus on become what? Your perceived reality. So if you focus on your weaknesses, you're always going to see why you cannot do something. You're always going to have an excuse why you cannot maintain a standard that you're supposed to maintain. Also, always start from the known to discover the unknown. Focus on the known first. When you focus on the known, then you begin to move your way to discover that which is not known. Also, learn to start from where you are to get to where you are going. A lot of people are really like confused with, whoa, how, I don't even understand how to get to where I'm going. But first of all, understand where you are. If you have an understanding of where you are, then you can start focusing, okay, how do I move from where I am to where I want to be in life? But if you don't understand where you are, if you don't understand how you are operating in your current position, you will not be able to move forward in life. And what about planning? Planning is very important. How often do you apply this concept of focus? Think about this. You cannot conquer your life. You cannot conquer your life until you know the power of focusing on something unique daily. This is very, very important. Until you understand how to focus on something, particular thing on a daily basis, you will not be able to conquer your life. So it's the ability to be able to conquer your life. It's how do you conquer your day? It's like a battle. If you don't win this battle, you can't win the second one. So if you wake up in a day and you don't accomplish anything, you wasted that day and you did not discover the secret of the success of conquering a day. So what is the assurance you're going to conquer the second day? And if you don't know how to conquer the second day, that means your week is jeopardized. That week is going to be what? A failed week. And if the weeks are failing, your month is in disaster. And if you can't get it together in the months of the year, that year is ruined. So you have to learn how to focus on one thing you want to accomplish each day. Then from that, in a week, you see, this is your weekly focus. You have to have a weekly focus. This week, this is the main thing I want to achieve this week. Then when you are successful in achieving that thing, then you go to, okay, the month, for this month of December, this is what I want to accomplish. For the month of January, this is what I want to accomplish. That is how people break goals into little bits of pieces until they accomplish the bigger one. So accomplish one for the day, learn to accomplish something for the week, and then learn to focus on something particularly for the month. And then at the end of the year, you will see that your year accumulation of what you focus on each day, each week, each month will become the victory that you have at the end of the year. And each of these victories is very important because they accumulate to become the secrets of the future success. So in conclusion, I want you to understand. Now, yesterday I discussed the scale of preference, emphasizing on the need to make the right choice against the future challenges. Tonight, I'm really expatiating on how to focus. Yesterday was know what the need is for the future. Tonight is understanding how to focus on that one thing. If you already figure out what is the need for the future, then you now learn how to focus on that need. That's what you're going to need to be able to be successful in the future. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about your dream. It's one of the things that you need to focus on to be able to create a perfect future for yourself. And that's going to be all that I'm going to talk about tonight. And we're going to be getting ready to hear from Mr. Owolabi. He's going to be our second speaker. And I'm just going to see if it's ready to go. And Femi, whenever you are ready, please, you can go ahead. Can you share your slide? Do you want me to project your slide for you?
No, wait. I'll do it.
Okay.
Share screen. You have to use the one with Femi Owolabi. Did you see it? Let me share screen. Share screen, right? Click on that. Okay. Huh? Is it sharing?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Thank you so much. This one, right? Yes. Okay. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, let me get started. Thank you so much. What a wonderful brief. Can you hear me now? I'm trying to speak louder so that if everybody can hear me.
Yeah, we
So,
can. We can hear you
all
loud
right.
and clear.
So good day, everyone. I'm Femi by name, and welcome to the second annual Life Impact Seminar. Thank you so much, Sam, for that, wonderful talk. It was awesome hearing some of the things that is similar to some of the things that I want to talk about, But today, I'm going to be focusing on seed. And I would like to ask, does everybody know that seeds are very powerful? Seeds are very powerful thing in our lives. But today, I'll be actually focusing on the seeds of ideas. Seed of ideas is what we're going to be focusing on. But before I go further, I would like to ask everyone, you can type it on Facebook, you can type your answer. Like, if I ask you, what's the population of the world going to be in 2050? What would you say? Here's another question. If I ask you how many people are going to be successful in the world in about 2050 or 2060, what would your answer be? Somebody said they don't know right here. You don't know. Somebody said, how am I supposed to know that people are going to be, dying and some people are going to be born? That's true. Nobody knows the answer, right? Nobody knows the answer to that question, because whatever your contribution is going to be in 2050, that's the only thing that is sure. That's the only thing that you know. So in 2050, if you know they're going for a population of like 250 billion or something, you can decide maybe you want to have kids or you don't want to have kids, right? You can decide how many kids you want to have. Does that make sense? You can decide if you want to have 1 kid or 5 kids. So what does that mean? The future of tomorrow depends on the decision you make today. Whatever is going to happen tomorrow, you are the only one that can decide the future of tomorrow, especially for yourself. You can decide how many kids you're going to have. You can decide what you're going to do for the future. That's why I said the seeds, your seed represent the future. And in order to build that perfect future for tomorrow, you need an idea today. And that's what I'm going to be talking about. And normally I talked about, some people, like when you talk to them, when you ask them, like, hey, how many kids are you going to have? They might tell you, we're going to have like maybe 2 kids. But in maybe 2 or 3 years, when you see them, they will have like maybe like 5 kids, and they will say it's a mistake. They will say, we made a mistake. But in this success and greatness and the future that we're talking about, there is no accidental seed. That's why I always say, like, in the garden of success and greatness, there's no accidental seed. You can't make mistake by going to that future, right? Even if you're going to play like lottery, right? If you're going to play a lottery, you're going to win 1 billion. You still have to decide to go there and play that lottery, right? You have to decide, you have to take your money. That's a decision you kind of consciously make to go there. That's why the future of tomorrow depends on what you decide to do today. So now I'm going to be talking about seeds. I'm going to be giving us like some definitions of seeds, maybe some of those things that we don't know about. And I'll talk about some principle of seeds and idea. You see myself. Here is my reference, some of the references I'm using. Here they are. All right. So, and today I'm going to be talking about how to master your seed so that you don't waste your seed away. Most people will discard their seed because they don't know what it is, and or some people don't wait until that seed get to its fruitfulness. They don't wait, they get rid of it. So today I'm going to be defining a seed for you, and that's going to help us to kind of like go through this teaching a little bit so that we can understand the full picture of this. So a seed is the beginning of life. A seed is the source of something, source of development or growth. I'll repeat, a seed is the beginning of life. So in that place, we have life, we have beginning, and we have a source of development or source of growth. And I'll go to the 2 categories of seeds that most people are very familiar with. the living things, plants, and animal. The other category that most people are not familiar with is the one that I call unpopular seeds. Those are the seeds that come from within. An example of them is seed of words, and that's one of them. Actually, I say is the most powerful seed on earth. The seed of words, thoughts, idea, imagination, purpose. But today, I'm going to be talking mainly about the seed of ideas and how it relates to our life. So these things that I mentioned earlier, the unpopular seeds that I mentioned, words, ideas, they are not like seeds. That's one thing I want to make clear. These things are not like seeds. They are actually seeds. They are actual seeds because they can do the same thing. They can grow. They are source of development. So that's very important for us to know. And again, it's also very important for us to know. I think Sam mentioned it when he was talking. This thing, because in life, these seeds, they are within. They come from within. But the problem is, most people are looking on the outside for this seed. Most people are looking on the outside. Some people think maybe in their job, they're working for somebody, that's when they're going to find their fulfillment. That's where they're going to find the seed of purpose. That's not true. That's actually not true. Because the seed of greatness is within you. It comes from inside. I always say this jokingly. Don't go to Fiji Island. Don't go Saudi Arabia. Don't go to, some of these places to find your purpose or to find your greatness, because your greatness is within you. And until you connect with them, you sow them, they cannot manifest. All right? All right. I would like us to write this down. What I'm about to say now is very important. It took me almost a year to research into seed, into ideas, into life in order to understand this. And this is one of the discovery that I found out when I was researching seed and idea. I'm going to describe the two sources of seeds, where our ideas come from, where the seed of life come from. All right. And the two sources are, I would like you to write this down. Two sources are single divergent and multiple convergent seed. What do I mean by that? I'll repeat it again. Single divergence and multiple convergence. So the single divergent seed, which is, as the name indicates, is also called monosource, one source seed. That means when you plant the seed, all right, I have an example of acorn seed right here. It's so tiny. This is one of the biggest, tree. This seed will go to a big tree. I'm not sure if you can see it. Okay. That seed, when you plant it, it's just one seed right here. One seed. When you plant it, it grows out, it sprouts, and the product of the seed become big tree. Not just the fruit. Most people focus on the fruit of this tree. That's why they make mistakes. They cannot manifest their greatness. This seed grows into roots, it goes into leaves, it goes into stem, it goes into all kinds of things before you can even think about fruits. So this kind of seed is like when you start your business very small. It's so small, like I showed you, this kind of seed is very, very small, so tiny, and they are single. When you sow them, when they come alive, they become multiple fruits. A good example of that in real life, in business world, is like Bill Gates. Bill Gates formed a single small company from a simple idea, small idea. And this idea became like billions, millions of dollars. Multiple people were working for him, right? That's like single divergent idea. That means the single seed where all the power, the future of the trees, when you plant it, they come alive and they produce many multiple fruits. Now let's talk about the multi-convergent. All right, that's an example of, okay. So the multi-convergence idea or seed, these are often, I refer to them to as MC. Sometimes I call them MD because they are always moving. These seeds, they're always moving. They are motile, M-O-T-I-L-E. They are constantly moving. When they are released, when these seeds are released, right? They are like the ones we find in human cell, human seed, right? When they are sown or released, they come out in millions. It's not just one seed. So like the picture on my slide, it's not just one seed, even though that one seed has millions of itself in it. And when they come out, those seeds of millions of seeds, they converge. They converge onto a single point. They are attracted onto a single point. And when they come alive, when they produce fruit, their fruit is either one or two fruits. It's not like billions of fruit. One of the issues with this, multi-convergent seed is that when they come alive, their potential, the millions of potential that converges together, the millions of ideas that converge, right? They are inside that one convergence point, right? Does that make sense? So they are inside that convergence point, meaning all the potentials they carry all the potential reside in that one thing or two, depending on if you have twins, right? So here's where we have a problem in life. Because all this, I think Sam mentioned it earlier, all this potential are hidden within. The world keeps searching on the outside for it. That's why I say the future of a tree is in the seed. That means whatever you need, you and I need to be great. Whatever we need to be, whoever we need to be, reside inside of us. All right? Because you and I, we are seed as well. Here's what I believe. All right, that's okay. Here's what I believe. Most of us in life, we have this multi-convergence idea, okay? Because every idea that comes to us, we cannot pinpoint them. We struggle in life to pinpoint them because there are multiple there. They comes in millions for some people. And majority of people, they have this idea. But the problem is, why can't we figure it out? The problem in life is we cannot focus. And I think Sam talked about focus in his own version. I think one of the key things he mentioned, and I'll talk about it a little bit in terms of ideas. This is when you talk about focus, idea focus. You have millions of ideas in your mind. You don't know what to do. You're trying to, maybe you start a business. You are saying, should I, start, a car business, whatever, maybe start mortgage, house, business, or whatever, all right? Can you hear me? Okay, I think, because I'm trying to, yeah, okay. You have millions of ideas in your mind, but you cannot pinpoint them. You cannot bring them together to decide which one is best for you to implement right now. You need the principle of focus. This is the ability to trap your ideas in your mind. You have to trap them and decide which one you are going to implement right now. That's this principle of focus, and I'm going to go through it a little bit. This principle, I remember at my workplace, like a long time ago, maybe like 6-7 years ago, there's one lady that came to our office. She was very new. She was really very new. Today, at that time too, I call her the idea fairy. I call her the idea fairy. All right. So every time we're doing a meeting, because this lady, she's only been in the job for 2 years or so. She was very new. Most of the people that are old timer, right? They've been in the job 20 years, 15 years. Every time we are in a meeting, this girl comes up with ideas. That's why I call her idea fairy. She comes up with like thousands of ideas. Like, I'm not kidding you. Every time we have a plan, she says something, everybody will be like, what are you talking about? Because we couldn't figure out our idea. One day, I decided to say, okay, let me teach this lady principle of focus. So every time when we accept some of our ideas and we try to implement it, they come back with the pushback from our headquarters. So after we figure out the principle of focus, which I'm going to teach you a little bit, we were able to get some of the ideas to our headquarters. When they send it back, we were able to tweak it because we said, let's focus on one, which is what I'm going to teach. After that, our social media, our products started getting awards and we started receiving accolades. all right, what is this principle? I think Brother Sam kind of talked about it a little bit, but I'm going to, expatiate on how it relates to idea. So focus, F-O-C-U-S. The letter F stands for fix your mind. Focus your mind, fix it, lock it on target. The O on one idea. I think that's one of the things Brother Sam talked about. You focus on, so you're having ideas to build a house or to buy a car, to start a business of a car, all kinds of things. You have to pick one. I think that's very important to know. You have to pick one. But just in case you have somebody who says, okay, I know how to do things. I can do two of them. I'll say, in order to get to this future that we're talking about, to get to this greatness, you have to pick one. But just in case you have two in your mind that you think you want to do, or three, lock on those three. When you lock on those three, the O stands for organized in terms of priority, right? You have to figure out which one you're going to implement now, which one you're going to master. Because until you master one, you learn from it, then you can do the other one, because the other one is not going anywhere. So that's why, you got to pick one, stand on one. If you have to, organize it and pick the best one in terms of priority, or depending on how you want to, the purpose of your idea, what you want to achieve. I'll tell you this, I always say this, if you're trying to start a car business, if you're trying to start a housing business, if that's you, that money is your focus of making, the purpose of that idea. Both of them, you're going to make money. You're going to have people work for you. So they're all going to achieve the goal. The thing is, you want to master it so that when they need to call somebody who knows how to build a house or who knows how to sell the best car, they'll call on you. That's the reason why you have to pick one. Now, C stands for clarity, right? Clarity of course, clarity of purpose. You have to be clear on your purpose of starting that idea, all right? Then C also stands for competition. Like the lady I was talking about in my office, there's a lot of competition. A lot of things are competing with our ideas, all right? When we have these ideas, like when I was talking about the multiple convergent idea, I thought about an example when somebody wins the lottery, right? Somebody wins the lottery. That lottery is like the nucleus. Then you start seeing ideas coming to these people's head, right? That's how they waste the money. Because they don't have a single idea of their own, every idea will start coming. Like they will start coming to their, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that, all right? So you have to eliminate competition. Whatever is competing with an idea, the one you pick, you have to eliminate it. Like all the old timers that will tell this lady, an idea does not make sense, it could not work. You have to focus on this idea can work, right? You have to get clarity on the purpose of the idea, why you want to start that idea, and you eliminate competition, right? So let's see this thing, okay. You is understanding. You have to understand your role. What role do you have to play? What is your role? A lot of people fail in life because they don't really, they cannot even do what they have to do. They fail because whatever it takes to make that thing come to fruition, whatever it takes to make that idea come to greatness, they cannot do the work. They will understand I have to do this. Maybe somebody you have to, partner with, maybe somebody you have to go talk to break barriers. They cannot do it. Then they will fail on the idea. They will stop the idea. Finally, the S is stay on the single idea until you see a seed and always sow. All right? You always see a seed, because when you see seed, that's the principle of seed is when you plant that idea, when you start it, definitely one day you're going to get to your greatness if you master it. You're going to employ people. So you have, and that's the big tree right there. That's why you have to focus that idea is a seed. So, and you sow. Sowing is implementation, right? Sowing is where majority of us fail in life because we delay on sowing. We have this great idea. You see a lot of people like they talk about all kinds of things and they think about, okay, I want to do one, but they delay on implementation. This is another big issue. People take years, thousands of years, they wait too long. All right? that's not something you want to do. You don't want to be that. Once you figure out your idea, when you figure out which one you want to do, you know the reason why you want to do it, you sow it, you start sowing it. If you make mistake, you learn from it and you grow and you become better. That's the principle. I mean, I wrote about some of these things in one of my references, a book I'm working on. It's called Seed of Great Success. What you sow is not what comes to life. All right. I explain a lot of these things in that book. I explain about multiple dynamic idea, which is the one that when you have it, people will call you crazy. Because that idea is like, you say a lot of things that's over their head. All right. People will say, oh, this guy is crazy, because the idea will be like, where did he come up with this idea? People, when people cannot comprehend what you're doing, they will say, oh, this person is out of this world, he's crazy. But you have to start that idea. You have to implement that idea. You have to make it work. That's one of the principles where people became pioneer, because they started an idea when the world says it's crazy. We talk about Bill Gates, right? Working for a company, when he did his idea, even when he wanted to sell it, people say, you are crazy, we can't buy this thing, right? The same thing goes for a lot of people. So I describe that multiple convergent also, which is idea that produces like two fruit. All right. I'm not sure if I mean, this happens to a lot of people, right? One single idea in two people's head, right? You think about, oh, you're very busy. You're thinking about calling a good friend of yours. You're thinking about calling a good friend of yours. And like, you forgot to call them, even though you know in your mind you wanted to call them. And in like maybe 5 minutes while you're doing something, that friend pick up the phone and called you, right? And you say, oh no, oh my God, I was about to call you. That happens in life, all right? That happens in life. That's a kind of like multiple ideas, the same idea in people's head. That's why you don't want to delay on your implementation of your idea. Because if you delay on that idea, somebody else is going to do it. That idea is multiplied in somebody else's mind. Because of the creator of that idea, the person that puts the idea based on the type of idea, put it in two places, like twins, right? I remember a story of a gentleman that always sits down and watches TV. He watches TV all the time. Every time he watches TV, he sees a lot of things wrong on the TV in life. You say, this thing is wrong. Why are people doing this? What is going on in life? This blah, 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 all right? And he will come up with great ideas on how to solve those problems. He will come up with like 30, I can fix it, oh my God. But why sitting on his couch watching TV? All right? And this is the story of many people. So one day he called his daughter, hey, come over. I have this idea. Look at what's going on in the world. I have this idea. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to do this. This is what I would do if I were the president. All kind of things. He comes up with all kind of things. The daughter just listened, just like my daughter sometimes when I'm talking. She would just look at me like this and just listen when I come up with all kind of stuff, right? So one day this gentleman was watching the TV. Businessman came up. That's why I call it, oh, Bill Gates stole my idea. Businessman came up, talked about some of the ideas they came up with. They solved some problems in the world and they were making millions of dollars. This man was, oh my God, that's my idea. Bill Gates stole my idea. That's Bill Gates on TV talking about my idea. Then he called his daughter, hey, come. Do you remember when I was talking to you about my idea? The daughter was like, yes. Bill Gates stole my idea. And this is the question the daughter asked. Said, did you tell Bill Gates your idea? How can Bill Gates steal your idea? This is the story of many people, okay? Most people fail in life today because they fail to implement that crazy idea, because people call them crazy. You have to implement your ideas. You have to start implementing your idea, because if you don't, especially with multiple and dynamic idea that is always constantly moving, somebody else is going to implement it. Somebody else is going to implement that idea. So that's why you have to start implementing. Next thing, okay, I talked about dynamic idea. All right. So, all right. Let's move on. This is what I want to say. It's very important. Your heart and mind, they are loaded with ideas. And these ideas, they are ideas of greatness. All right? That means the seed of greatness is within you, right? You just have to learn how to manifest those seeds. And I pray most of us that have those ideas will start manifesting right now. All right. So before, I wrap up, I'll give us some points that's going to help us. Because one of the things that I think I understand when we're talking about seeds, when people talk about seeds, they talk about what you sow is what you reap. I know that that's true in terms of labor. The work you put in is what you get out. But I would like to correct this notion. It's very important. In my principle, and I learned this principle for the Bible, is very, very powerful. What you sow is not what comes back to you. It's not what comes back to life. And I'll repeat it again. What you sow is not what comes back to you. If you implement your idea today, by tomorrow, which is the future, the world is going to see your greatness. Because when you sow this idea, right? When you sow this idea, like I said, what you sow is not what comes back to you. Like this small seed, when you sow it, right? Imagine this seed. Look at this seed, right? What comes out of it is, even common sense, is different from this seed. The tree, the roots goes down, the tree sprouts up, becomes big, the leaf comes out, flower comes out from some tree, it becomes huge. That means some birds are going to eat from your tree, right? The fruit of your tree. Some birds are going to eat from it, right? People are going to take, if it's a big tree like the acorn seed, if it comes out with a big tree with shade, people are going to take shade under your tree. That is the power of idea. That is the power of seed. What you sow is not actually what comes out. What you sow is bigger and greater and even looking different than what comes out is bigger and greater than what you sow. All right? So that's why I'm urging everybody to start implementing your ideas today. Because your idea, if you don't implement it, the idea you don't implement today is a future you have destroyed for some people tomorrow. Because having an idea and going to the next future that we're talking about is not just about you. It's about changing the world. It's about creating something that the world is going to benefit from, that everybody's going to benefit from. Like Sam asked me a question one time. He said, what's one thing, and that's a powerful question to me. I went home and thought about it. What's one thing that if you are not in this world anymore, the world will say, if not because of you, we wouldn't have had this thing. That's how you got to think. Every seed is different. This seed does not produce the same fruit as this one produces. A tomato seed produces tomato. That's why you have to be different. You have to create something unique that is going to empower the world is going to benefit from. All right? So I'm going to give you some key points. All right? And here are the key points. Number one, do not eat or finish your fruit by yourself. All right? I'll repeat it again. Do not eat or finish your fruit by yourself. I've never seen a tree, right? I've never seen a tree in life that eats its own fruit. Have you ever seen a tree that eats its own fruit? Never. Never. And this is what that simply means, right? This is a very simple principle. I understand in life, you will say, oh, you can eat out of your fruit. Sometimes people call their salary like fruit of their labor. I understand that. But the idea that we're talking about is about to preserve the life in the idea so that the growth and wealth in the idea can manifest. All right? The seed of ideas is about generations. It's about multiplying something that is good for people to benefit from. And it's about you replanting that idea for generations to come. All right? So that is why when you have a seed, I always say that you don't eat your seed. That's what I always say. All right? You don't eat your seed. Because if you eat your seed, if I give you one seed and that's the seed that you need to change the world, that you need to manifest greatness, you need to sow so that what comes out is not even what you plant. If you eat that seed, you've destroyed a future. That's why I always say the seed of idea is your future. All right? So it's very powerful that, and it's very interesting that people will say, oh, this is my salary, this is my money, they will eat it all right? So I want to let you know, your heart and mind is loaded with ideas. Don't eat it all, and don't eat it by yourself, because it is your future. It is what takes you to the next level that we are going to. So don't finish, all right? I also learned on one of these principles from the Bible. Let me see. Okay. When you sow this thing, right? I think I said it the other time. You nurture it, you feed it. The components of that thing, just like work, right? A lot of things are going to come out of it. The success of that seed, you can't get it unless you sow them. This is one of the reasons, and I'm going to talk more about it tomorrow. This is one of the reasons why people are, poor. They're frustrated because they make money and they think it's a fruit, right? So in terms of idea and seed, you are a seed as well. I think we already established that when I talked about multi-convergent seed. That's the seed in human being. You are a seed as well. You and I, we are a seed, right? When you work for somebody, when you are working in a company, for that company, you are a seed, okay? Whatever you get out of it is still a seed as well. Even though you can call it fruit, and that's why most people eat all their things. They think there is a fruit, right? The money you make, when you think is a fruit, you eat it all. Because most people eat fruit. Most people don't eat seeds. There are some seeds that people eat, but when you eat seeds, you will find out that most of them are sour. I found that out, all right? I know people call it fruit of your labor, but I always say, in my principle, we have to change mindset. We have to let people understand that for us to go to that future that we're talking about, for us to get greatness, everything we have can be considered as seed, so that we can multiply whatever is good out of it, all right? So I would like to say this again. Your salary is not a fruit, is a seed. Stop eating it all right? Let me kind of start wrapping up with some of these key points. You need to understand this thing, that before you can manifest your greatness, because you are a seed and you are a sower as well. That's one of the things that we talked about. I think Sam talked about it, the unlimited power that human beings have that they don't know. We have unlimited power. We can be seed. That's why you work for people, and you can sow. You can be a sower, and you are the harvester at the same time. You have a lot of potential. When you sow, when you are the sower, it's just like I talk about Bill Gates. You start a company. You sow great ideas. You sow something. You ask people to work for you. You have unlimited potential. That one idea, and then you start having multiple ideas after you've mastered and implemented. All right? So to achieve our greatness, right, we must master all the ideas that God puts in our mind. We must know their purpose. If we don't know how the idea benefits the world, there is a tendency that will discard or terminate it, which is one of the things I talked about. You will destroy that idea. You've terminated people that are going to work for you, people that you are supposed to pay their salary. You are supposed to take them to a different level. They are supposed to start a franchise from you. You've destroyed that by destroying just your single idea. All right. The second principle, have a vision for your idea. All right. You have to have a vision for your idea. What are you trying to achieve from starting that idea? Is it a good idea? And I think we'll talk about that more tomorrow. Is it a good idea? I will talk about how to detect if an idea is a good idea. And you have to have a plan to protect your idea. A strong plan, because like I said, we all understand plans, but the reason we are failing in life sometimes is because we don't understand this seed, our idea. A lot of people, a lot of things are warring, are fighting with your idea. They don't want it to come to life, right? That's why you have to have a plan to protect that idea. All right? And part of the plan is having people around you who can support your dream. If people cannot support their own dream, they cannot support your dream. All right? Dream killers, naysayers, get them away from you, because they will kill your seed real quick. They are like weeds. they will eat all your ideas. All right? They will eat it all. So get naysayers away from you. All right? You don't want them around you because they will kill your idea. You have to have friends. That's what I call friends. Even though your idea might not be perfect, you have to have these friends that they will support your idea and they will help you to tweak it, right? They will keep every day because they don't want you to fail. Because whatever ideas you have, you can implement it with a few tweaks. Like the girl that I talked about that came to our work, our idea got pushed back, but we tweaked it a little bit. It did not stop us. The same thing I'm urging everybody listening, don't let anything stop you. Once you kind of focus on the idea, you've pinpointed, you've known the purpose, protect your idea and start implementing. That's the key. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Key is implementing your idea. I will tell you the principle of implementation. All right? Another one in the soil is your environment. This is very crucial. All right? Your heart is the soil as well, because remember, this is where we believe things with, right? Your heart, the deep heart. Your heart is the soil. Your heart has to be good so that, and you think that's one of the reasons why you have so many CEOs after they started a big business, a huge business, because their heart is not good. They're thinking about robbing people. They have some ethical problems. They steal money from the big company, right? Because they have bad heart. And the idea is good, right? If you have an idea to employ people, but your intention is to screw them up, you don't want to pay them, all right? You have to clean your heart to say, this is the purpose of my idea, and it's going to benefit the world. People are going to grow from your idea. So the soil is your environment, the environment where that idea is growing. Another thing, the physically, I'm talking about on the outside, the soil is the environment on the outside, meaning the people that surround you. I always say this to myself. If I spend so much time in a place where I cannot write my idea down, that's not a good place. Like if I hang out at the club all day, all night, that's not a good place to hang out because you can't focus, you can't think properly, you can't even think about, you want to do something and you want to write it, you want to write the plans out, you can't do that in that place. So you spend your time in an environment where your idea is going to flourish because you have to make this thing come to life. And again, find a way to document this idea, right? And I talked about multiple dynamic idea the other time. I keep mentioning because I believe that's the idea most people have and they fail to come up with it, put it together. You have to write it down, always. That's how you pick the best one after evaluating the plans. You have to write your ideas down every time and sow them and have patience, all right? Patience is the key in everything, is the key. You have to sow your idea and give them time to grow. No seed or no fruit that is planted comes out in a day, all right? Furthermore, when you sow your ideas, when you sow your seed, give them or share them with people. Like I said the other time when I talk about salary, your paycheck, people sometimes, I've seen that in some developed worlds, right? Everything they make, they feel like they have to finish it all by themselves. The same thing with ideas. You have to share it with the world. When you have a great idea, after implementing it, it's good, you invite people. That's how you make the idea better, and you can sell it to the world too. But one thing I warn people about is don't sell all your ideas, all right? Because that's finishing the fruits, right? Sow it again and again and serve it to the world. When you sell all your ideas, I remember a story I was sharing, me and my wife, we were sharing the story about two people. One is a musician, one is a producer. This musician is the one that has gift, talent of, how to sing. He started singing. The other producer would take him around the world tour. They were doing world tours, right? But the problem with this musician, he doesn't have a vision for his idea. This artist, he doesn't have a vision. So he sold the idea for like $20,000. About 15 years later, right? This producer was getting, and he sold all his demo, like the original of it. He doesn't have any rights to those things. He sold it to the producer. He sold all his ideas, all his vision, all his talent, all his gift. then this producer was making billions of dollars from it. All right? You don't want to do that. That's why you see people in business world, and we're going to talk more about business world tomorrow. This is going to help us a lot. It's going to liberate us. Business world, when somebody wants to sell something, you hear that they have a stake in that business. They still have a stake. They might have like maybe 50% because they know it's an idea that is going to generate from, it's going to be living from generation to generation, because the future depends on the future of your children, depends on it, and your children's children. So you don't want to sell all your ideas, all right? Because your future is certain. You have a great future, right? Don't sell it today for lack of vision, for lack of not being able. And we're gonna talk about seeing vision tomorrow. We're gonna go deep into it, because in the garden of success, right? There's no overnight success. You have to have a vision. You have to wait until you see the big fruitfulness of that idea. All right? You have to wait. Like I said, patience is the key. No accidental sources, because no plant buds in a day, right? Every plant takes time. There is one that most people talk about, the Chinese bamboo tree. It takes that bamboo tree like 7 years, all right, to come out to life, to become a tree. So your time to implement ideas is today, but your harvest is tomorrow. So patience is the key. All right. And if you're patient, if you are willing to follow some of these principles, and I think everybody that is listening and watching me now, the world will be blessed with the fruit of your success. All right. We're all going to witness your success. All right. So I think I'm going to be ending a little bit with this, because I'm not sure if there are questions. Right? Maybe there will be questions coming in, and I'll be ending with this. All right. I hope we have all been blessed with this, seed of ideas. In the beginning, I talk about, some of the ideas, this type of ideas we have. I talk about the single divergent, which is the one like this, that when you're planning, but that's an idea, small idea, like Bill Gates, when he started idea, and that's how you have to do it. It's very small. Look at it. You have to start small. Everything in life starts small. Nothing starts big. Babies, anything, think about it. Everything starts small. It starts from the seed of the baby, even until when the baby comes out of the belly. Everything starts small, all right? You have patience. You are willing to follow some of the principles that when you have the idea, when you implement it, the world is going to benefit from it. After focusing on the one that will benefit the world, and I'm sure you're going to be blessed as well yourself. Your children are going to be blessed, all right? Because seeds and ideas, they are the keys to your future tomorrow. In fact, they are your future. Everything in this world, I think we've mentioned, is over and over and over. Think about it. Even money. That's why I always tell people, money is not the first thing you look for. It's idea. When you have great idea, people are going to come support you. All right? So always sow your idea, implement, okay? Today is the time to plant. Tomorrow is the future, all right? The idea of success that will make us great tomorrow. And I pray to God that we will not destroy it today for lack of vision, for lack of knowledge, for lack of understanding. I pray everybody will start seeing the idea. They will start having the mindset of idea on how to write it down, on how to focus on it, so that we can manifest our greatness. I want to thank Brother Sam, for giving me this opportunity to talk about this idea seed. I've been working on it for like a year, and even before that, it's a very, very powerful thing, and I'm learning it to myself. So, and everything about it is like, it's changing my mindset on how I see life. It's changing everybody's mindset as I talk about it, as I talk about how we got to stay focused on what God has given us, how to move it forward. And I hope you have been blessed tonight. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Owolabi. Thanks a lot. We're really grateful that you were able to make it with us this night, and you've shared a very powerful.
Do we have questions?
Well, thank you.
Okay, because I know. Let's see if we have questions.
He said no.
They say no? Okay.